Hey, this is Steve with Real-Time Music Solutions, and today we're going to do a video tour of the Rehearsal Live Share app on mobile devices. For the purposes of this video, we'll assume you've already installed the app on your iOS, Android, or Chromebook device, created an account with us, and downloaded the content from your director. If you haven't done those things, check out the link in the description below to get started. As you can see, I've got a song list here, I've got markers, I've got numerous things that we'll go over. Let's go ahead and start in the upper left-hand corner. This drop-down arrow, if I click it, this is a fast way to get between the different views. Navigation, parts mixer, output mixer, visual click, and the Rehearsal Live Share section. I'll go ahead and close that for now. The two eighth notes here, this just takes us right back to show management. So if your director has created a number of different projects, you can go here and switch between them. I'll go ahead and click the X to get out. Now at the top center area here is the transport, and I'm going to go ahead and hit play. And the music starts to play. Because my director created markers when he created the show, there's markers that I can click on to move around the song as well. Boop. And now we're hearing verse 2. Like I said, these markers are created by your director. You may not have any markers, and that's okay too, because you can just click into the timeline to move around as well. And you can click and drag. Great. We'll go ahead and switch to another song, one that has not only markers, but also multiple parts, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. Now, also here in the playhead, we have a metronome symbol. We'll talk about that more in a minute. We also have this I up here that takes us to information about the show, about yourself, the email address you're using, the version of the software. For now, I'm going to go ahead and go back to navigation. And let's talk about the stack in the upper right-hand corner. I'm going to go ahead and click that. And now we're in the parts mixer. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play, and note that you may not necessarily have a bunch of parts here. It might just be one single part, which means that the director set up the song with one single audio file. We set up this particular song with 5 different audio files, one for the band and 4 voice parts, so we can mix these however we see fit. I'm going to go ahead and hit play, and I'll go to a section that actually has all the voice parts playing, and we'll do some mixing. Okay, this is the backing band part. This is one of the harmonies. This is another harmony. This is another harmony. This is the lead. I can go ahead and double-click into the pan pot, bottom, and we can see the backing volume again, and then there's panning beneath that. So I could go here. This is a backing part. I could pan that left. This is the lead. I'll keep that center. I'll go here and pan this, and I'll pan this even further out. And of course, you can also mute parts. And now we don't hear the backing track. Go ahead and turn it back on. Okay, so that's the parts mixer. Let's go ahead and click that stack again. This is the output mixer. Most likely you're only going to see channel A on the far left because you're on a phone or tablet or Chromebook and you don't have an audio interface hooked up, an external sound card that has sophisticated routing functionality, and that's fine. That's standard. If I go ahead and click the pan pot there, beneath the channel, get volume here as well for the channel. And there's also a send here. This is reverb send, so I can decide how much of this channel to send to reverb. I'll leave it as is. If I click either of the arrows at the top, I can switch between outputs just like I could with the parts mixer. And now we're looking at the master fader. And we also have reverb and click options. Let's go to reverb. For those who use reverb in different digital audio workstations and know about it, this gets into the nitty-gritty of how powerful you want the reverb to be, what characteristics you want. I'll go ahead and leave it alone, but I wanted to show you that it exists. There's also a click area. So I was talking about the metronome symbol before. Let's go ahead and go back. Go ahead and just rewind a little bit. So here, if I turn the metronome on and hit play, and we can hear the metronome playing back, and I can go ahead and open up the pan pot again. Master, here's the click. That's it for the output mixer section. Let's go ahead and hit the stack again. This shows us the visual metronome. This is contingent on the director creating the content with a MIDI conductor track. If that means nothing to you, don't worry about it. But this is something that the director is in control of. If you don't have a visual click here, that means that it was not created when the director created the show. Go ahead and skip to the next section. Here's information screen again. We saw this earlier. This shows where we are in the song, our email address, and very important, you can also report a problem or send feedback here, and you can get to some tutorials. Click the stack again, and now we're in the live share screen. You can see here that the stack icon has moved to the bottom left-hand corner for screen space reasons, and there's also a camera and mic icon. Camera icon has a line through it. That's because I'm on an Android device right now, and camera functionality is not working for all Android and Chromebook devices. So it doesn't really matter if I click it or not. Nothing changes. Like I said, we're working on it, but this is not a deal breaker. You can still be in session, and you can sing, and your director can direct you, and you'll see your director, and we'll see that in a second when we hop into an actual Rehearsal Live Share session. So as you can see, when I talk, my fader underneath my social media picture there starts to light up. If I hit this, it's grayed out. And so if I was in a session and I wanted to mute myself, I can just go ahead and hit that, and then I can turn it back on again. Okay, from here we're going to go ahead and crossfade into a Rehearsal Live Share session. As participant from a mobile device, I'm actually going to be using an iOS device, so my camera will appear, unlike Android, but the rest of the functionality will work exactly the same. Okay, I can see my director's pulling me in. I will accept. Hello.
Hey.
Okay, so I'm now in the Rehearsal Live Share session on my iOS device, and we're going to do a quick recording of California Dreamin', and David will share those recordings, and we'll take a look at allocating takes.
All right, you guys ready?
Ready.
Ready.
Okay, the band's a little loud. I'm going to bring them down. All the leaves are brown, and the sky is gray. I went for a walk.
Okay, I'm sharing.
Okay.
Here it comes.
Okay, the band's a little loud. I'm going to bring them down. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring myself down because the recording is a bit hot. All the leaves are brown. And we can hear Ellen as well. I'm going to go ahead and click here. I can pan myself. Pan her. Bring the band down more.
If I was in LA.
California dreaming
on such a winter's day.
Okay, now we're out of the session, and I'd like to dig into takes a bit. How to assign them and unassign them. And this is something you can do outside of an RLS session if you're just practicing on your own. As you can see, I have a fader for myself, Steve Wood, and a fader for Ellen Warner. Notice that she has a ghost icon to the right of her picture, indicating that this is a ghost fader, a fader representing a fellow participant that is not currently live with you, but that you have local take recordings of on your device. Notice the pan pots at the bottom of the individual faders? See how Steve and Ellen's have a reel-to-reel icon on them. This tells us that takes have been attributed to these faders, therefore if we hit play, we'd hear them. If I tap one of these pan pots twice, I can dig into the fader for advanced editing. Like we saw in the parts mixer earlier, we've got a volume, panning, and mute button. What's unique here is the takes button. We can see below that there's a take of myself in place that was recorded on 4/22 at 4:49 p.m. Let's click the icon to dig into the takes menu. Here we once again see the currently assigned take at the top. If we click the takes button, we see all of the takes that exist on this device. We can select any of them and click OK to assign them to this fader. If we select unassigned and click OK, we will no longer hear a take on this fader. Now, back on the live share screen, Steve's fader no longer has a take symbol on the pan pot. Using these tips, you can easily rehearse by yourself on top of previous takes of your fellow participants. This concludes our mobile tour of Rehearsal Live Share. Thanks for watching.